won and emphatically won the presidential election.
It is a judgment that I refuse to accept.
Democracy has finally triumphed.
Presidential election petition court judgment sends some into raptures, others back to the drawing board.
The terrorists and their cohorts cannot win in the face of ongoing military pressure and other pressures.
Nigeria troops rescue 147 kidnapped victims in the northeast, restate commitment to the fight against outlaws.
Don't procrastinate. Don't be frightened about investments in Nigeria.
From India with optimism, Nigeria makes new friends and new deals on the sidelines of the G20 Leaders Summit in India. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober in Abuja, and joining me from Lagos is Hingino John Adams. And remember that you can watch this news live on our website, www.nta.ng/live, and also on our other social media handles displayed on the screen. The multi-billion-dollar investment interest indicated by Indian investors in Nigeria has continued to elicit commendations by stakeholders in various sectors who believe the Nigerian economy is heading towards greater heights. State House correspondent Musbah Wahab reports from New Delhi.
Don't procrastinate. Don't be frightened about investments in Nigeria. Bring it home.
The chief marketing officer of his country kicked off the process, and his canvassers soon went on the drive.
This government, the president, but also the Minister of Finance, is extremely committed to ensuring that we digitalize government services in Nigeria.
We have opportunity with infrastructural deficit of about 3 trillion to bridge between now and the next 50 years. And that creates a huge opportunity for investors like yourselves to come in to tap into that opportunity.
Not only ready for business, the Nigerian government also shows its preparedness to create the enabling environments for the existing and upcoming businesses to thrive. And convinced by the sincerity of purpose demonstrated in the policy decisions of the current administration, the existing investors are ready to double up, and new ones are grabbing the opportunity.
There is Jindal Power and Steel, which committed $3 billion business. There's also Skipper, which deals with the power, it's a power company, Indorama, as well as Ashok Leland. So this indicates that the Indians are now ready to do business with Nigeria because of the confidence they have in the new government.
Nigeria, we are lucky to have him at this critical time because he understood business, at the same time understood governance. That's why investment is coming all over.
On the other side, Nigerian investors attracted partners in their drives with special interest in oil and gas, solar energy, information technology, agriculture, and infrastructure developments.
Our company in Nigeria currently has over 140,000 customers with this Indian partner to connect people rurally, and then we rely on technology to collect revenues from the rural areas via mobile money.
They have achieved a lot in democratizing access to digital services. So we want to learn from them how have they achieved this, and also how can we transfer and build similar digital public infrastructure as well as digital capacity.
Mr. President believed rightly so. He wrote about it, he speaks about it, that Nigeria can and indeed will find hundreds of billions of dollars from the international investing and domestic investors so that we build the economy.
Doubling the existing trade volume of about $15 billion in Nigeria, key players project that the strategic partnership between Nigeria and India will continue to grow in a win-win situation. From New Delhi, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigerian professionals in the solid minerals sector will soon travel to Australia for more studies, thanks to a deal brokered by the Minister of Solid Minerals, Mr. Dilli Alake, in Perth, Australia. Presenting the request to the Minister of Mines and Petroleum of the Government of Western Australia, Alake acknowledged the progress made by the government in mineral development. He proposed a program enabling Nigerian mining professionals to study modern mining technology and practices in Western Australia with the government's support. Accepting the proposal, Bill Johnston said the government of Western Australia would support the transfer of knowledge and skills to mining professionals from Nigeria and sponsor mining experts to visit Nigeria to impart knowledge.
Sure. And of course, if we are going to shift focus into this seemingly new area for us, then we need all the capacity building, sure, training, knowledge, and the regulations governing that sector, so that we can maximize the mileage from that sector and achieve our economic objectives.
If you were wanting to send officials to Australia, we'd be very pleased to work on an agenda to provide that capacity building. If you were looking for somebody from our agency to come to Nigeria for training, then you'd need to either talk to our national government about providing funds for, or perhaps an international development organisation.
Alake is leading the Nigerian delegation to the 21st Africa Down Under Mining Conference in Perth, Australia. Africa's first climate summit in Kenya has ended with the 2023 Nairobi Declaration, which intends to propel the African agenda and set an action-oriented framework that will develop the renewable energy sector and increase funding for African countries. Charles Alpha reports that a $23 billion commitment has been made for green growth and mitigation efforts across Africa.
With the climate summit over, there is a new Africa on the horizon. Leaders can go home satisfied knowing that Africa can define its own destiny, a sustained future and global opportunities for renewable energy and biodiversity. The unification of their voices to push on agenda for climate justice and adaptation. This means they are ready to do more serious business, to represent people of the continent and the whole of humanity. The three-day summit has come to an end, but not without a strong statement, and that is the 2023 Nairobi Declaration. The declaration points out Africa's position on climate change, climate solutions and financing, and how it intends to tackle the impact. It seeks to leverage on the South-South trade, investment, and technological know-how to address the climate emergency. It calls on international community to help achieve that goal by easing the continent's crushing debt burden and reforming the global financial system to unblock investment.
The African Union will work out a roadmap for this declaration.
Green energy potential is going to define the future of global opportunity for unprecedented prosperity and a new paradigm of industrialization that respects the environment and supports our planet's capacity to sustain biodiversity.
$23 billion has been promised by both governments and European countries, United Arab Emirates, the EU, and the private sector.
Let us give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
As African leaders at the summit make their way out through the doors of the Kenyatta International Conference Center, Kenya, their minds will be fixed on results and implementation. By the time they return for another climate summit in 2026, will they be sharing testimonies of breakthroughs? Let's wait and see. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Back home, recent interventions by the Renewed Hope Initiative targeting the empowerment of less privileged members of the society has continued to draw needed attention even beyond the shores of Nigeria. And with that recognition comes a wider frontier of collaboration with the pet project of Nigeria's First Lady. The State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports that, courtesy of an unfolding partnership with the African Union Development Agency AUDA NEPAD, a new batch of 200 indigent students will soon benefit from scholarship at the African School of Economics.
A flair to organize and meet the needs of the society, starting from its smallest unit, the family, women are naturally positioned to lead. So, when Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, received the Chief Executive Officer of AUDA NEPAD, Grace Akobundu, in the villa, the discussion naturally veered towards how to make the world better with empowerment for development at the center. As shown by the National Scholarship Program, recently flagged off by our PET project, providing access to education is one of the passions of Nigeria's First Lady, a point she did not fail to tell our guests.
If you are not innovative enough, we say those are developed world, if you are not innovative enough, you end up jobless. So to have a school where entrepreneurship is being driven, I think it's really, really well thought out by the founder of Princeton University. And I want to say Nigeria needs this innovation at this time.
To sustain the tempo of women empowerment, which is one of the key objectives of AUDA NEPAD, partnership with relevant organizations such as the Renewed Hope Initiative is critical.
In this regard, African School of Economics has approached African Union Development Agency, NEPAD Nigeria, on their proposal to offer scholarship to 200 indigent children in Nigeria, in line with the Renew Hope initiative of Her Excellency, which they captioned as Senator Remi Tinubu Scholarship Fund. The project is designed to provide equal opportunity of access to the highest global standards of tertiary education to young Nigerians.
Entrepreneurship is one of the skills on the table for beneficiaries of the scholarship offered by the African School of Economics in strategic partnership with Princeton University.
We will give these scholarships to the most deserving. So the brightest scholars across the country, but who cannot ordinarily afford this level of education. These are the sorts of youth that we're looking out for.
In collaboration with AUDA NEPAD Continental, AUDA NEPAD Nigeria is working closely with 22 states in the country to build the capacity of smallholder farmers to boost their productivity. This is another area that may see a new collaboration with the RHI. In the State House, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Stakeholders have continued to express confidence that the new Ministry of Information and National Orientation has been assigned the right minister, Mohammed Idris Malagi, who will appropriately drive government policy for effective and accurate information dissemination. Former Governor of Niger State and a member of the 10th Senate, Abubakar Sani Bello, who visited the minister, reaffirmed the commitment of the National Assembly to the cause of ensuring good governance in Nigeria.
Well, this ministry is a very important ministry because, like you said, the agenda has been set and it's now left for the ministry to explain to Nigerians what the agenda is all about, what government programs and policies are all about, and going forward, this ministry will help in communicating to the general public. I have no doubt in my mind again that the 10th Senate will do the needful when it comes to providing the enabling environment, necessary laws that will make things easier for Nigerians.
Governor of Niger State, Mohammed Bago, was among those who visited the minister upon his assumption of office. The task of providing humanitarian intervention to victims of disasters is an onerous one and needs cooperation across board. This is not lost on the new helmsman at the Humanitarian Affairs Minister, Dr. Betta Edu. So, in continuation of efforts towards sustaining humanitarian interventions across the country, she has entered into partnership with the Nigerian Air Force. This was part of her agenda when she paid a visit to the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, in Abuja. Ruth Agwele reports.
The visit to Borno by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Beta Edu, was to see ongoing interventions by government and other development partners for improved and holistic coordination to meeting SDGs projection for poverty reduction and zero hunger by the year 2030. A field trip to Muna IDP's Camp and Rehabilitation Center gave her a clear picture of humanitarian interventions needed in terms of resettlement drive, food security, and livelihood support.
We need support at all levels. From the international community, we need support. From the state level, we need support. And even at the community level, we need support to overcome all of this.
The minister was also at the zonal office of National Commission for Refugees, Migrant and Internally Displaced Persons, and Northeast Development Commission, where she frowned at the attitude of NEDC staff to work and insisted on collaborative efforts to addressing poverty and humanitarian crisis in the Northeast region, with 8 million persons in need of humanitarian interventions. At the Borno State Government House and Palace of the Shehu of Borno, Beta Edu commended the government and Emirate Council for ensuring peace and meeting the needs of the IDPs and refugees in neighboring countries of Chad, Cameroon, and Niger.
Government of Borno State will first and foremost partner with you under these 3 critical areas of reducing poverty, supporting SMEs, addressing challenges of internally displaced persons.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation is set to double intervention for 15.7 million households in Nigeria through social register, with verification commencing soon. In Maiduguri, Paul Nkujevana, NTA News.
Apologies. That report actually was by Paul Nkujevana from Maiduguri, talking about the activities of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs in Borno State. And this just in, President Bola Tinubu is reassuring Nigerians in the diaspora that his administration will continue to work hard to deliver a Nigeria they would be proud to return to. But he also urges them not to overstay their welcome abroad. It was during an interactive session with a cross-section of Nigerians resident in India. Here again is State House correspondent Musbah Al-Wahab.
Miles away, but Nigerians in India obviously have their way of following happenings at home. A rare privilege under the same roof with the president, and they take it to the fullest. They are aware of economic situations at home and so raise some questions and a bit of concern.
Any concerted efforts by your administration to revive the local refineries?
How will Nigeria as a nation shift from import-dependent country to exporting country, sir?
Disturbing as their concerns might be, their special guests say those are his motivation to the presidency, and ready to address various challenges of the past while looking ahead with positivities. President Tinubu says the Indian experience indicates that Nigeria can be great with the new course he is charting.
We have a lot of animals. We are not tendering and given vet opportunity to do ranching and invest in ordinary dairy to give food to our children. That is not out of plan. We are going to change that in this government. We are going to be net exporters of food, dairy, and others. We should be. We have the resources. We have still deposit and the ground that can satisfy our need and leave excess for export. We can compete with India itself.
Equally coming from a wide range of experience in the diaspora, President Tinubu presents himself as a true testament of no place like home.
Some of you last year, we have to look for money to bring you back home. That is not a good position to be. You are given a visa for a particular length of time. If you cannot renew it, come back home. Don't leave it to expire until they criminalize you.
Our target is, under this administration, the issue of passport renewal is going to be a thing of the past. You won't have to wait for so long to have your passports renewed.
And from this session, Esther Jack, a Nigerian graduate in India, emerges the luckiest with a job offer from a Nigerian entrepreneur, Tony Elumelu.
You apply online, and if you do well, you have a job.
They were very happy to engage the president. And the key thing is they're passionate about their country. They're also interested in doing what they want to do. But we also advise them, as the president said, you have to be of good behavior. You have to be our #1 ambassadors. You have to project the image of the country in the right manner.
The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission says it will continue to attract the contributions of Nigerians across the world for the development of the country. From New Delhi, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
And President Bola Tinubu extends his warm felicitations to the former CEO of Cadbury Nigeria, Mr. Bumioni, on the occasion of his 70th birthday. In a statement, the president joins family, friends, colleagues and associates of the celebrant in thanking God Almighty for preserving this distinguished figure who continues to make an indelible mark on the corporate landscape of Nigeria and society at large. We'll take a short break now. The news returns in just a moment.
Our cement is up with Win with the King promo. Now you have been offered the opportunity to win lots of fabulous prizes. On the list, MG5 executive cars, millions of naira, tricycles, LED television sets, generators, Android phones, rechargeable lamps, bags of pure cement, pure branded t-shirts, and an abundance of 200, 500, and 1,000 naira recharge cards. Buy just a bag of Boa cement. Look out for the scratch card inside. Scratch to reveal your prize. Then call the number on the scratch card to redeem your prize at any Boa Redemption Center located in the 36 states capital, or call for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Boa Cement, the king of strength.
The Northeast Development Commission NEDC Governing Board and the entire staff of the Commission have set on another special intervention for the people of the 6 states of the Northeast Zone. This time, the NEDC is launching the distribution of palliatives in the Northeast. This is in addition to the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a 22.5-kilometer Jere Bowl Road network along Maiduguri-Mafa Road in Borno State. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Special guests are the executive governors of Adama, Bauchi, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe states. Chief host, Chairman, Northeast Governors Forum, and the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum. Host, MD and CEO, NEDC Mohammed G. Alkali, and the Royal Father of the Day is His Eminence, the Sheikh of Borno, Dr. Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbe Alamin El-Kenemi. The timely events are scheduled for tomorrow, Friday the 8th of September 2023, and Saturday the 9th of September 2023 at the Government House, Maiduguri. Time 10 o'clock in the morning. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Management announcer.
TerraQ, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Get in on the action with Betano, your exciting destination for thrilling sports betting. Enjoy an award-winning experience with amazing betting options, cash out, and missions, as well as other features. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to 100,000 naira. Betano.ng. The game starts now.
The new Happy Sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happy Sachet.
Thanks for staying with us. And now on to the polity. The National Working Committee of the governing All Progressives Congress has described the historic judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Court as an affirmation of the people's popular mandate. National Secretary of the party, Surajuddin Ajibola Basiru, was speaking during a media briefing at the party's National Secretariat. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The National Working Committee lauded the court verdict across all petitions filed by opposition parties aimed at undermining a democratic process that was credible, free, fair, and transparent.
The judgment has also reinforced that our party won and emphatically won the presidential election on February 25, 2023, beyond any doubt.
The National Secretary says opposition parties did well by approaching the court for redress and urged them to join hands with the governing All Progressives Party in transforming the country.
Our campaign planned on the unity and our message of renewed hope obviously resonated with Nigerians at home and in diaspora.
The National Working Committee also received Conference of State Secretaries of the All Progressives Congress APC on a congratulatory visit following outcome of yesterday's court judgment and also tendered some salient appeals. The National Secretary appreciates the conference and urged it to remain resolute and steadfast in solidifying party structures at sub-national level and promised to study their request and act appropriately. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, have rejected the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court. This was at a joint media briefing at the national headquarters of the PDP in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
This is a one-agenda media briefing. Reaction to the Presidential Election Petition Court judgment that declared President Bola Tinubu winner of the 2023 presidential election. With the message, let's keep hope alive. PDP Acting National Chairman Ambassador Umar Iliadamagun believes that the judgment of the Election Petition Court fell short of the party's expectations.
Both law and facts were visibly thrown overboard.
The presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, on his part, explained that his decision to go to court is anchored in the belief that the court is the sanctuary of justice for the journey of his political career, holds so much to the courage and fearless decisions of the judiciary.
I am therefore here to tell you that though the judgment of the court yesterday is respected, it is a judgment that I refuse to accept.
The PDP presidential candidate notes that his ultimate goal in the pursuit of justice is to ensure that democracy is further strengthened through the principles and processes of fair hearing. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Well, Wednesday's 12-hour judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Court continues to generate reactions. Tonight we have Dr. Ogaga Ifowodo, a lawyer, to add his perspectives on the verdict of the Court of First Instance in the presidential election. Thanks for joining us tonight on Network News.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, you've seen and heard reactions from key stakeholders, your colleagues and Nigerians in general. Now, what are your comments on the interpretation of their lordships' judgment?
The good thing about it was that it was read live and the whole world watched it. I think it was a thoroughly thought out judgment. They gave consideration to every issue raised by the petitioners. In fact, they started by treating the preliminary objections that the petitioners had raised. and having dealt with them, then went to the substance of their petitions. On all counts, they found them to be unsupported by both the law and the evidence that they tendered. It happens that the sentiment is one thing, but we all should know that a court is not an electoral body. So when they say the judgment does not reflect the will of the people, the question to ask is, how is the court expected to reflect the will of the people, which already has been reflected at the ballot box, at the polling stations? I remember, and everybody will also remember that, because it's only yesterday, that what the court was saying is that if you allege that there were malpractices, rigging, vote inflation in so many thousand police stations, but did not show the actual votes, the actual police stations where these irregularities took place, and how many votes were thereby maybe awarded to the wrong party and deducted or not accredited to the petitioner, how would the court come to a conclusion that the petitioner would have won? So it's all a matter of facts and the evidence. The court cannot go beyond the facts and evidence presented before it.
Well, some are of the opinion that the verdict has somehow given the FCT the status of Nigeria's 37th state. You recall this has always been a contentious issue here.
As a matter of fact, I wrote about this. I wrote an article in March, soon after the Labour Party's vice presidential candidate, Baba Ahmed, made that famous threat, I would put it, that the President Buhari should not swear in President Tinubu and his deputy, Kole Shetima, that doing so will amount to inviting the military. And the issue of FCT, he actually mentioned it. And it will always be clear that FCT is not even a state. It's only deemed to be a state for the purpose of elections. So I don't know how a federal capital territory that is not originally a state can have a status that is far and above that of veritable legitimate states. Now, I've always pointed out, asked the question, also following Dati Ahmed's own analogy. If, for instance, a candidate scores 100% of the votes in 36 states, but somehow managed to only clinch 24% of the votes in the federal capital territory, why on earth would that candidate not be declared the president without risking the greatest kind of absurdity? Courts do not accept absurdity. Right. We follow the literal interpretation, but if it's going to lead to absurdity, then you look for the intention of Parliament, which is have a candidate that has been accepted in a way that reflects the national mandate rather than a sectional one.
All right. Quickly, as we round up, the reaction of the plaintiffs is an indication that the Supreme Court will soon be receiving some guests. Would you say that Nigeria's democracy is truly maturing?
I would. Absolutely. And I think if this is a stress test for our fledgling democracy, I think the 5 justices of the Court of Appeal have shown that our judiciary can be trusted to rise up to the occasion and deliver justice according to law. All right. I think it's a good step in the right direction. By all means, they should go to the Supreme Court and make the argument again that the Court of Appeal misdirected itself in law, did not apply the facts correctly. They can certainly go to the Supreme Court to test their arguments again.
All right. We'll have to leave it there at this point. And thank you very much, Dr. Ogaga Ifowodo. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
In other news, troops of Operation Hadunke in the northeast have rescued 147 kidnapped victims, while 109 kidnapped victims were liberated in the southeast by troops of Operation Udoka in the last 3 months. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, announced this as the third quarter update of ongoing operations across the country.
It's the periodic update on ongoing armed forces operations across the country, and the Director of Defense Media Operations has a submission of success story from the exercise in the last 3 months. Details indicate that 276 terrorists were arrested, 240 unrepentant terrorists eliminated in combat, while 4,560 have agreed to drop arms due to the intensity of Operation Hadinkai in the northeast. Similarly, troops of Operation Udoka in the southeast have arrested 162 IPOP and Eastern Security Network members and rescued 109 kidnapped victims in the zone. In the north central, 76 kidnapped victims were liberated by troops of Operation Safe Haven, while 104 suspects apprehended.
The terrorists and their cohorts cannot win in the face of ongoing military pressure and other pressures. Accordingly, the terrorists and their cohorts are encouraged to drop their arms and rejoin society to provide a better life for themselves and their children. A failure to do so is the risk of annihilation.
Upscale surveillance of troops of Operation Delta Safe has continued to apprehend and eliminate the nation's economic saboteurs in the Niger Delta. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
To consolidate on the palliative measures towards mitigating the recurring decimal of conflicts between herders and farmers, Gombe State government is tracing the root causes of the problem. Emmanuel Akila reports that this is with a committee set up by Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya to re-establish diminishing cattle routes and forest reserves in the state.
Nigeria is blessed with land suitable for agriculture. However, conflicts between herders and farmers on the use of this important resource has resulted in deadly confrontations. Gombe State government has a committee comprising stakeholders in agriculture and security agencies aimed at coming up with workable solutions.
The Muazu Zubairu committee finds out from the locals that encroachment into gazetted cattle routes and grazing reserves are some of the problems responsible for the lingering conflicts between farmers and herders over the years.
We have seen where herders have settled down and become farmers. Now we have seen where farmers have taken over grazing reserves to make farms, especially the cattle routes. We have seen farms on the cattle routes. So that is the genesis of the problem. But by the grace of God, we make our recommendations to government, and I'm sure government will take action on it to have a lasting solution to these farmers and herders conflicts.
Grazing areas have been taken over by commercial farmers, but thank God, the government has come in with solutions. The committee goes round the state to inspect local and international cattle routes and forest reserves, as well as engaging with herders and farmers towards re-establishment of the gazetted routes and grazing reserves. The state government has already revived the Wawazangi Forest Reserve, which is embedded in the National Agricultural Transformation Plan for improved crops and animals production. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
The governorship candidate of the Accord Party in Kogi State in the election scheduled for November 11, 2023, Vice Admiral Usman Jibrin, has debunked claims that he may have stepped down from the race. The former Chief of Naval Staff is the guest on Friday's edition of NTA's Political Update, where he shared his ideas on shedding his military fatigues for civilian robes. Vice Admiral Jibrin says competence must come on top when recruiting leaders.
Acceptable candidate. I'm the only one that everybody is looking towards to address the insecurity as well, based on my background. And topically, is to tell you that I went into the race so that my people can see their two eyes closed. So whatever I had has been debunked, and a press release made to that effect.
The new edition of the program airs at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Time now for us to link up with Hingino John Adams in Lagos for more on Network News. Hingino.
Thank you, Cyril. If Nigeria is able to harness the abundant natural resources, especially its more than 800-kilometer coastline, to create more employment for the youth, the nation's GDP will be second to none in Africa. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy Adegboyega Oyetola was speaking during an inspection tour of maritime assets under the supervision of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, in Lagos. Adeola Komiakere reports.
This is the first official visit of the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, to the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, since the creation of the ministry. This working visit is to familiarize himself with the operations of the agency to enable him take necessary steps towards addressing the challenges in the sector. From the Regional Maritime Rescue Coordination Center to other assets critical to maritime safety and security, the minister was optimistic that investor confidence is guaranteed while promising a seamless working relationship that will promote economic growth and stability.
We can talk about fishing trawlers and engage our youth in area of fishing. We have most of these things in abundance. We are blessed, but we have not harnessed the potentials for economic development. And that's the essence of the creation of this ministry.
Director General of the agency, Bashir Jamo, while briefing the minister on the successes recorded so far, said Nigeria is among countries that has attained maritime independence and inclusive blue economy.
We work tirelessly over the years to ensure that we maintain and we put Nigeria in the global sphere when it comes to the international global best practices. And even though we are yet to get to where we are going, but we achieve mileage in terms of standard.
Nigeria's maritime and blue economy will stimulate growth in renewable energy, offshore engineering, as well as seafood and marine production. Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
That's it from this end. Time now for some messages, but before then, be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen.
Lipton Yellow Label's flavorful and balanced taste in every sip.
Trust Nivea Perfect and Radiant Body Lotion to reveal your skin's natural radiance. The same unique formula enriched with berry extracts, even tone complex, and UV filters to reduce dark spots and even out your skin tone. For radiant and even tone skin, say hello again to Nivea Perfect and Radiant Body Lotion. Try the full Nivea Perfect and Radiant range to unlock your most radiant self.
We are passionate about two things in Nigeria. The first is football. The second is our rice. And nobody celebrates like a Nigerian. So, for every goal scored, every mark made, you can be sure to always come back home to rice. Celebrate with Nigerian Premium Big Bull Rice, homegrown just like you. Big Bull Rice, tasty rice, nourished you. Every mom, a treasure beyond measure. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
You and your hair go through a lot. The heat, rain, chaos. It's a non-stop war against total breakdown. But just like you, your hair can stay strong no matter what. Mega Growth Break-Free Daily Leave-In Strengthener for all hair types is infused with a unique blend of natural oils and conditioning proteins that helps protect your hair. Mega Growth Break-Free, your daily defense against breakage.
Something new is about to hit your imagination of TV. A brand new sundial with StarTime's inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTime's antenna and satellite signal. StarTime Sundial TV, you can enjoy over 300 local and international channels, 1 month StarTime's highest bouquet for free, automatic system update. More benefits, more affordable. StarTimes Sundial TV is available in all StarTimes branches and dealers countrywide. StarTimes Inside, entertainment inbuilt.
Are you a dealer in cars, jewelry, precious metals and stones and luxury goods? Are you into real estate, or are you an estate agent, surveyor, valuer, developer or broker? Are you into the hospitality industry, lottery business, or are you a mortgage broker, tax consultant or an accountant? Do you have a supermarket, pools betting and consulting or construction company? If you have, go and obtain your certification from the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCMOL, and be free to do your business within the ambits of the law. SCMOL has the responsibility to monitor, supervise, and regulate the activities of designated non-financial business and professions, DNFBPs, across the country. Please note that the SCMOL certificate is not a guarantee of legitimacy of any business. To register, visit www.scmol.org. For collection of certificate, visit any EFCC office nearest to you. Remember, registration is free.
SCMOL, securing Nigeria's business environment. This message is from Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Back in Abuja, the Director General Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Dr. Joseph Ochogu, has harped on the importance of peace in building a society that Nigerians will be proud of. This was during his discussions with the management of the Nigerian Television Authority on finding ways of promoting peaceful coexistence in the country. Ekene Ndulwe reports.
Conflict situations in the northeast and other parts of the country has seen the Nigerian military engaged in peacekeeping missions in affected communities. The protracted nature of these conflicts is a source of concern to the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, and they are exploring non-kinetic means of intervention. The management of the Institute is seeking partnership with the NTA to create digital contents that will promote peaceful narratives in Nigeria.
We want to build and tap on this experience that is NTA, that we know before. How do we create content, on peaceful coexistence that we can change the narrative on the social media?
Peace is a collective responsibility, says the Director General of the NTA, as he assures the visitors of NTA's readiness to partner with any cause that promotes peace in the country.
Collaboration between your institute and NTA is very happy, and I can assure you that in any way possible you want us to partner, the NTA will be ready to do that. Yes, sir.
As both organizations shake hands in agreement, they express no doubt that the nation will be better for it. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulwe, NTA News.
In an effort to mitigate the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal, Borno State government has given a check of 2 billion naira to the Borno State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress for disbursement as interest-free loans to eligible workers with a repayment period of 24 months. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum made the presentation following a meeting with officials of the state chapters of NLC and TUC at the Government House in Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni reports.
It was the third in the series of meetings between the organized labor under the auspices of the NLC and TUC and officials of state government led by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum to discuss a wide range of issues bordering on welfare of workers in the state. Governor Zulum charged the NLC to complete talks with the State Ministry of Finance to determine category of workers entitled to the loans, as well as the process of land recovery through monthly deduction of not more than 1/3 of salaries. The governor also announced 100% increase in monthly releases for payment of gratuities backlog.
I've also approved for the release of 30 buses, mainly to convey civil servants to their respective place of work.
As part of resolutions reached at the meeting with Labour, approval was also granted for Ministry of Finance to clear backlog of 2026, 2027 and 2028 promotional benefit owed workers whose names were omitted during early payment, while workers owed 2019 and 2020 promotional benefits should also be paid, and those owed from 2021 to date are to be paid based on outcome of recent promotional examinations. Chairman of NLC Borno State, Yusuf Inoa, footable some of the demands before government says the labor movement is happy with the response. He thanked Governor Zulum for meeting their demands, hoping that Labour will continue engaging government on welfare of workers at the state and local government levels. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
The Bureau of Public Service Reforms has released the assessment of federal government performance of ministries, departments and agencies for 2022. Releasing the assessment, Director General of the Bureau, Ibrahim Arabi Dasuki, says the exercise is aimed at assessing the strengths and weaknesses of all MDAs in their operations, processes and systems with the aim of optimal performance. He disclosed that after the end of the 2022 self and validation assessment, the National Lottery Trust Fund emerged the best performing federal government agency with 75.24%.
The Bureau will ensure we return in due course to ascertain that all the findings and recommendations that the assessment has provided are faithfully implemented 100%. As an engine room of reforms, we are willing to continue to work with you to sustain the recorded achievements, support areas where work is in progress, and chart a course for improvement where performance is weak.
We are indeed achieving this significant milestone for the good of this nation. So I would like to congratulate you on the job that you do always to ensure that we remain afloat, we remain on our toes to continue to discharge our responsibilities as required by our enabling legislation.
System, well-established human resources management policy with objective criteria for recruitment, career development, promotion, remuneration, rewards and recognition, assignment of managerial functions, as well as routine monitoring of policies were some of the criteria used in the assessment. Time for another quick break.
From humble beginnings to the extraordinary, we've witnessed incredible bonds, the rise of legends in the most challenging of times, and the most unforgettable moments that kept us at the edge of our seat. Everything up till now was just the beginning. Legends go head-to-head as timelines have collapsed for the ultimate showdown. Welcome to Big Brother Niger All-Stars.
Proudly sponsored by Money Point, powering dreams. In association with HFM, online trading at its finest.
The new Happic sachets. It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with Happic sachet.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It concerns you. It kill love, it kill dreams. It land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Our boss was like, a decent fashion designer only gets home at midnight. Midway.
Man like Osime, Papa just the chop Italian league like Oha.
These are real housewives of Abuja. Those women are fire. What does OJ say again? A relationship with money is alhamdulillah.
Because they wear uniform, you want to treat people anyhow. Imagine this officer, oh. I will clear out one lie. Ah, don't cast. Bruh, come on there. Face no matter. The biggest dragon for Westeros, now is small picking face arm, blind bomb. Right arm like Formula 1. Here, catch me.
He found the gold. I've asked her for just shaking me piece of the pie and she killed him for it.
Eh? Obini. Fair women, no.
No one tells a story like we do. Showmax, Africa's original streaming service.
President Bola Tinubu sends his condolences and sympathy to the family, followers and associates of the prominent Islamic preacher Sheikh Abubakar Giro Argungu following his demise. In a statement by his special advisor, Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngilali, President Tinubu described the death of the religious leader as a loss which reverberates beyond the late preacher's immediate community and as one that affects the entire country in view of his contributions to Islamic study and his renowned calls for moral rectitude. Prayed Allah to grant Sheikh Giro al-Jannah Fiddausi. And the death has been announced of Hajia Yaya Asma'u Suleiman Takuma after a protracted illness at the age of 84 years. She was the wife of late veteran broadcaster, Second Republic politician, and the first National Secretary of the then National Party of Nigeria, NPN, Alhaji Suleiman Takuma. She is survived by 7 children, many grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And that concludes the Network News tonight. We thank you for watching. I'm Cyril Stober. Good night.